let's move ahead. As Putin's invasion gets bogged down, he is pulling every tool out of the toolbox to try to take Ukraine, including, as we mentioned, those hypersonic missiles. But are they even effective in a fight like this?
This discussion on the hypersonic missiles is really a bit of hype. It is not a particularly useful weapon for this type of fight. Those are meant to evade interceptors when you're shooting intercontinental ballistic missiles. As you start to close in on the enemy, as happened in Mariupol and in Kyiv, places like that, technology provides you less of an advantage. And what becomes more advantageous in these close-in, block-by-block fights is morale, training, leadership.
And that's a four-star general. If this fight comes down to morale and leadership, I'm going to go Ukraine, no doubt about it, and the points. But what other options does Vladimir Putin have left? Let's turn to former Navy SEAL, Congressman Dan Crenshaw of Texas. Congressman, your take on the state of the war and the urban fighting in Mariupol right now.
Look, I largely agree with General Kellogg. Putin appears to have gotten in way over his skis. He's losing this war. It's the only reason he's at the negotiating table whatsoever. I think Zelensky is doing the best job he can in making public statements, for instance, that he won't give back Donbass, that he won't give back Crimea. Now, in the end, will he? Not sure. But he's doing the right thing as far as negotiating with Putin, because Putin is now more and more negotiating from a state of weakness and losing support domestically as well. And I also agree with the other statement made. What Putin is trying to do is desperately show the West that he has these hypersonic missiles and is willing to use them. You know, as was just noted, they're not particularly useful. They were unnecessary for that target that they were hitting. But they're trying to send a message. And they've been trying to send those messages to us consistently. Now, again, like I said on your show last week, he's not our national security advisor. President Trump on Fox News this morning said the exact same thing for the most part. He said, look, we don't have to listen to Putin every time he says, oh, you can't do something. They are increasingly in a state of weakness. The Ukrainian morale is high. We need to get them the weapons they need. There are plenty of people willing to fight, but they remain underarmed and without the equipment they need for the most part.
So the thing is, do you agree, Dan, that we have to win? I mean, meaning Ukraine. Because if Vladimir Putin stays in power, is able to keep a portion of his country in order to stop civilian deaths, and I can understand President Zelensky seeing every woman and child forced to leave or be killed and seeing these bodies say, I just have to end the carnage. If he's able to leave with the South or even more than he started with, he'll declare a victory. He's going to come back stronger in a couple of years.
He may. Look, this is what I try to tell people who say that, well, look, he just wants a little bit more. He just wants a little bit more. And, you know, that's what they said about Hitler, too. And look how that turned out. But again, I think Putin has made a mistake even going for Kyiv. It's pretty clear now that he's not going to get it. I think the Ukrainians need to continue to stand and fight this in Mariupol. I mean, that is a grand last stand. And it's an important strategic mark for Putin because it creates that land bridge between these breakaway regions and Crimea. So it's worth fighting for, and Zelensky knows that.
Absolutely, Dan. And also, I think it's important to know they called in our ambassador today in Russia and said you're in danger of breaking off relations. Really? Because we call them war criminals. Every day that they wake up, they're war criminals, including those commanders in the field. And I hope they have to pay for their actions. Congressman, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.